What's up, YouTube? I'm about to address a situation, and honestly it's kind of irritating to me because I feel like, man, what is with our people? It's like we're at such to where if something doesn't go our way, the next best thing we can think of to do is to go out there and run people's name through the dirt and tell lies and fabricate stories and just go about it like that. And you know what, I'm gonna make this video really brief too, because honestly I had moved on with my life after these events that I'm about to tell in a minute. I had moved on with my life. I met more people, made more friends, got involved in various activities and did a number of things, and it's like these people are still dwelling on this topic, man. Like, y'all still on this nonsense. They have become so irrelevant to our family, and they're gonna be irrelevant after this video, but I feel the need to put this video out there because they're throwing some accusations out there that are ridiculous. They're throwing stuff out there that are like nearly on the lines of just blatantly accusing somebody of eating babies. You know, just make up some crap about somebody then take off running with it as if the Most High don't see you. Anyway, I'm gonna address the young lady by name. Her name is Ebony. I'm gonna put a picture of her right here on the screen too, so y'all can look at her for the remainder of this video. I guess I should put a picture of her mom up there as well too, because she's one of the main ones sowing these lies out there too. So let's cut to the chase real quick. We met this family back in 2015, 2 years ago in March, and we had a good time with them. We all hung out. We went to the park, throwing boomerangs, and you know, they cooked for us. They brought a lot of gifts and whatnot. And so it was a good time. We all had a really great time socializing and hanging out and whatnot. And at the time, the young lady, she had kind of developed a crush on me and everything. And so I was kind of like, yeah, you know, I didn't feel the same way about her, obviously. And so her mom, she gave me the young lady's phone number and was like, you know, call her and everything. And I was like, well, okay, you know. I didn't see nothing wrong with it because in my mind, now mind you, I had just cut off a whole bunch of people that I had been dealing with in my area where I live. You know, people with, you know, people from the streets and whatnot. Just the whole 9 yards of foolishness, right? And so I kind of got tired of dealing with those kind of people. So meeting someone around me and my sister Sophia's age, you know, in the truth, seemed to have their head on right. Someone who was into music, you know, she was a piano player kind of like me and Sophia is. And so I thought that was cool at the time. I was like, yeah, this is great. Now we got a friend around our age. I can add her to my very small circle of friends. And we have some people that we can socialize with now. And so that was the way I looked at it. And besides, her mom giving me the phone number, I wasn't going to just take it and then set it on fire right there in front of her. No, her mom gave me the phone number without me asking, said, call my daughter. And so I was like, all right, I'll do that. So they get on the road and everything, right? And mind you, the young lady, before they got on the road, it was like 5 in the morning. They had to get on the road really early because of the fact that it was like a 15-hour drive ahead of them and everything. And the young lady, she's just standing there in front of me crying these tears, man. Like her face was bawling with tears. And she's staring straight at me with like this little smile on her face. Lip trembling, tears going down her face and everything, and I'm sitting there awkward as I don't know what, not knowing what to do. I'm like, you know, what am I supposed to do? You know, I'm just like standing there, you know. And so they got on the road, right? I go to sleep and everything, right? And then I wake up at like 8, 9 in the morning, right? And my mom calls me downstairs. And she's like, the phone is for you, Eli. I'm like, who is it, Sean? My friend, I thought it was my friend Sean at the time. And I was like, who is it? She was like, Bernessa wants you to, she wants you to talk to her daughter because she's crying and everything. And she really misses you and whatnot. And she really wants to talk to you on the phone. And so I'm like, huh? And so I had to dial him back and call him back on the phone and everything. The mom picks up the phone and asks me to talk to her daughter. And so she passed the phone back there to her daughter and everything. And I could tell she had been sniffling and crying and whatnot. And so I'm like, not knowing what to do. This is my very first time in life being put in a situation like this. And so I'm like, how's it going, Ebony? How you doing, you know? And then she was like, I'm doing good, and sniffling and whatnot. And so I kind of just had a little conversation with her, kind of lifted up her mood or whatever. And I was like, yeah, well, we'll all talk again later, you know. And like I said, we had a great time hanging out with you this past week, and we look forward to seeing y'all again in the future, you know. And so it was all good. And so I get off the phone. Next thing you know, I look up and like a day or two later, it's like 2 days later, and so I get a notification in my YouTube notifications bell thing, and I check it out, right? And it's a notification from Ebony. And so I click on it, and it was a freaking picture. I kid you not, it was a freaking picture of people. It was Caucasians, but it was a bunch of Caucasians with red fire ants and worms and maggots and creatures on their genitals. Mind you, I was in the middle of eating dinner at the time, and so I click on what it is she sent me, and I see this garbage. I'm like, what the Satan is this crap? And I got upset at her. I was like, why did you send me this? And she basically said, I just wanted you to check this out, because I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this neither. But in my mind, I was like, I don't know you like that. Don't send me no trash like this in my messages. I was nice about it at the time because my mom had been talking to her mom, and they were all really nice and cool with our family and everything, so I didn't want to come across too abrasive at the time. But I basically told her, I was like, I was eating, please don't send me nothing like that in my messages again, okay? Don't do that. Honestly, that was a serious red flag to me. Like, you don't even know me, but you sending me stuff like this in my email or on my Google Plus notifications, and you think that's perfectly fine. You don't send somebody nothing like that in their messages. And so a little bit of time after that, like, I don't know, maybe a week or two later, I remember overhearing my little sisters, Rebecca and Sophia, talking about the fact that Ebony had a crush on me. And then that same day, my mom and dad, they pulled me aside, and it was like, hey, Elia. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And they was like, do you have a crush on Ebony? Do you like her? And I was like, nah, I only see her as a friend, you know? And so they was like, well, you should get on the phone and you should let her know that, because her mom told us that she had a really big crush on you, that she really liked you a lot. And so I was like, I was like, all right, let me do this right away. And so the very next day, I got on the phone with her. I let her know that I only saw her as a friend. Now, something strange happened when I let her know that. As soon as I told her that I only saw her as a friend, she was like, she was on the phone, and she was like, hold on one second. Let me call you back in a few minutes, okay? And I was like, okay. And then she hung up really fast, and so I was like, did I upset her? You know? And so like 5 to 10 minutes went by, and then she called back on the phone, and then she sounded like she was a little shaken up, to be honest. But she gets on the phone, she's like, yeah, I understand and everything, but I only had a crush on you. I only liked you because, you know, I thought you were really nice while we were there. You were very nice and everything, and I haven't met any people that were like really nice like that, you know. And I was like, well, that's just how I was raised, I guess. But, you know, I only see you as a friend and everything, and, you know, you have your whole life for the Most High to send somebody into your life. But right now, I'm not ready for no type of relationship and everything, and we don't even know each other like that, and I only see you as a friend, and I think we should just keep it that way, you know? You're kind of like an older sister, so to speak, you know? She was like, yeah, that's cool, and I'm content with that too. You know, she basically let me know that she was content and cool with that. And so I was like, great, you know? And I felt like we had reached an understanding and all was well. So their family, they kind of had a habit of sending us a lot of gifts and whatnot. And we told them on many occasions that they didn't have to do it. You know, gifts was basically like, you know, snacks and food from Whole Foods or whatever. Or maybe things that they may have made, or things that they bought for us, whatnot, books and things like that. And so, yeah, we told them, we was like, y'all don't have to do this, you know. It's like, we want to do it, family, you know. that's what they kept on saying to us, that they really, really want to do this for us. And so he was like, all right, you know, if that's what you want to do, you know. And so they would send us like a box, like maybe 1 or 2 boxes a week with various snack goods and cookies, chips, and crackers and other stuff that they thought that we would like and whatnot. And we thought that was really nice and everything. And so a few times we got together our own gift boxes to send them all as a family and everything. And the whole time they were sending gifts, they kept on getting on me personally so that they could send me my own personal box of stuff. And I'm like, y'all ain't gotta do that, man. You know, I have my own money. I can go and buy my own snacks if I need to. I don't need you to buy me a box of snacks, you know. About 3 months after we met Ebony and her family, I had befriended a young lady on Facebook, and me and her started talking. And me and the young lady, we had a lot in common. We was really cool, and she was pretty. I kind of developed a little bit of a crush on her at the time. And I thought she was really nice, and came to find out that they was going to be coming to spend time with our family towards the end of the year. I remember about a month or so, maybe a month and a half after I met this young lady, Ebony called to speak to me on the phone and stuff, right? And so I was like, you know, we talked for a little bit, and so I kind of just let it out the bag that, you know, there was this nice young lady that I was talking to, that we're going to meet them towards the end of the year, and that I kind of have a little bit of a crush on her, but it was nothing really serious. And then she went all exaggerated, saying, oh, I'm so happy for you, and man, I'm so happy, can I be at your wedding, and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, chill. I only talked to her on Facebook and on the phone. I don't really know her like that yet. She's nice from what I heard about her and everything, but it's nothing serious, you know. She kept on steady pushing for that and everything. And mind you, by that time, I had stopped talking to Ebony as much because, like I said before, I didn't want her to get the wrong idea by me talking on the phone. I encouraged my sister Sophia to talk to her on the phone. And I would notice that her conversations with Sophia would be almost really brief. And I would be like, man, y'all got off the phone pretty fast, you know? And I didn't really pay much mind to it and everything because I was like, yeah, whatever, you know? But like towards September, I met the young lady that I had a crush on in the beginning of October. Like, we finally met in person. And so before that, like maybe about 2 weeks before October, Ebony sent me a message, a direct email. I'm gonna put the email right here for y'all to see it. So just look at that real quick. Yeah, so in my mind, I was thinking, how did you fall in love with me in literally 2 to 3 months? It's not like I was talking to her as much as she makes it seem like I was talking to her on the phone. And then on top of that, I told you that I only saw you as a friend. And then I met somebody else that I started talking to within that span of time. Mind you, here's how my communication level with Ebony was during the time period before I met the young lady that I ended up developing a crush on. Now, the first week, we kind of talked every other day. For one, that was because her mom was constantly telling me to call her daughter. I got screenshots of that. Look at these screenshots. One of them, she's speaking in all caps. I'm like, were you yelling at me? Not to mention, there were like times where my mom would be on the phone with Bernessa, aka Ebony's mom, and her mom would ask my mom to tell me to call her daughter when I get a chance or something. And so they were always telling me to call their daughter, and so I was like, and so after I revealed to her that I only saw her as a friend, I stopped talking to her as much. Usually after I got off of the phone with her, I usually had my sister call her too. I'd be like, Sophia, get on the phone with Ebony right quick. When she sent me that message, I hadn't talked to her about anything in like 2 to 3 weeks. And so I was like, where did this come from, you know? In my mind, it sounded like somebody had a fantasy. Like they were overly fantasizing about the possibility of me and her being together or whatever, and she wasn't looking at obvious signs that I didn't feel the same way that she did. On top of not talking to her sometimes for 2, maybe 3 weeks, I didn't keep in contact with her through text message either. So now, we were not in constant contact all the time. She was like just a sister or a friend that I talked to every now and then. It wasn't every single day, you know, texting. You know, I'm texting her to see how she's doing, or I'm emailing her to see what she's up to and all that kind of stuff. We were not close like that. So basically, when I got that message from her, I called her on the phone and everything. I let her know that I saw her as just a friend again. I was like, listen, sister, I feel bad saying this to you and everything, but like I said to you before, I only see you as just a friend. You're like an older sister to me. She was like, yeah, I understand and everything, and I hope that I didn't mess up us being friends over this and everything. I was like, no, it's alright, you know. You kept it real, that's cool, you know. I'm not upset at you for keeping it real, you know. And so she made it seem like she was perfectly cool with that. She was like, yeah, that sounds so great, and you know, I know that this will pass and everything. I'll get over it and whatnot. And she let me know that she was alright with everything. She was alright with me talking to the young lady, and everything seemed really cool. So I was like, great. So we can put this behind us now, you know? And so, yeah, so a few weeks go by, and I hung out with the young lady. Me and her had a really great time. There was this one instance where my parents, they did a broadcast, right? And they had to do this broadcast a little bit different for a reason. For one, it was a roundtable discussion broadcast. And so my dad had to aim the camera down at the table a certain way. And then because it was 10 people visiting us from out of state, we kind of had to, you know, everybody needed some room around the table. And so the young lady, she was going to sit all the way over where our grand piano is. Or should I say upright piano? It's an upright piano. But she was going to sit way over there all the way across the room. And I was like, nah. Why don't you come over here sitting next to me? And then she giggled and laughed. And she was like, alright, I'll come over there. And then she came and she sat next to me. My mom and dad, they were so busy entertaining guests and getting the broadcast and all that stuff set up, they didn't have any time whatsoever to speculate as to whether or not me and the young lady had a crush on each other or not. And so, me and the young lady are sitting there, and everything seemed like it's all well, it's all good and dandy. We all had a great time. A few days after that, I'm sitting at my computer, my desktop, and I was doing some work or whatever. And then we get a phone call, and I look on the caller ID. I see is from Bernessa, right? And so my mom picks up the phone from the other room, and then about 15 minutes into the conversation, I hear loud crying and screaming on the other end of the phone. I mean, my mom didn't even have it on speaker, but because she had the door open too, but I could hear it on the other end of the phone. I'm like, what the heck is going on, you know? And then I heard my mom saying, we didn't even know Elijah liked the young lady. And I'm sitting there like, what the Satan? I thought we had took care of this a few weeks ago. I thought you were cool with everything. What's going on now, you know? And so I had to get on the phone. I had to apologize to the mom for a few things. And then my mom, she had to, she asked her mom to ask my mother if she could apologize to her on the phone for allowing me and the young lady to sit next to each other. You know what? I'm gonna allow their video to roll right quick. I'll just let them give I'll just give a snippet of their testimony, and y'all tell me what this sounds like to you.
Down and saw that the tables were rearranged. Yeah. So I sat down and I saw that because they never ever did that before. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And I'm like, oh, what? The first thing they said, what I thought was in my head was, oh, Elias sitting by another girl. I already established all of this with him, and plus he was only a friend anyway, and all this other kind of. And they was trying to make me jealous. I know because Sophia, I remember this was before, even when other girls, Sophia would be telling me, yeah, this girl like him, this girl like him, oh, she likes him, and she would be telling me this, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, I don't care.
Right.
So I was like, not the fact that he was sitting by Kayla, I was just, sorry. I was sitting there, I was like, wait, hold on, they never did this before. Are they trying to be nasty? And I'm like, Miss Deborah, I'm not even thinking about a husband. I ain't thinking about a lie. I'm thinking about Miss Deborah.
As a woman, I'm like, female.
You are being nasty to me by doing, because I'm like, and then I thought about Mr. Yahoo or whatever his name is, Mr. Eric. I'm like, here, he put the camera up here. He
wasn't even looking at the video like he usually like,
he's like this.
Turn to the side talking to everybody.
I'm like,
and then he'll look over a little bit because you're wrong. You're wrong, and you know you were wrong.
And people told us that we didn't even tell nobody nothing, and they were
asking us
weird.
Yeah,
what happened with this video?
We didn't tell them what was going on. They were asking us because we don't send all these people over to their channel. They asking us why they got the chair sitting like that.
And people were thinking that was weird. Like they were doing a couple things. Like it was those were his wives. Some people thought those were his wives. Him, the other girl. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, dang. I'm like, are they trying to be nasty to me? I'm like, y'all being, I'm like, I ain't care about that. Because he said he wanted to marry the girl. And I was like, okay, tell me when y'all get serious. I'm going back up. You know what I'm saying? I told him, because I don't be talking to other guys. You know what I'm saying? You got a girl, I ain't going to be talking to you. I told him that. And I was like, I'm like, y'all being nasty to me? And that hurted me. I'm like, I love y'all so much. And y'all here trying to throw this in my face. Like, see? And I'm like, wait, I don't even care. But why are you doing that? And they didn't do it before, after that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it was only that particular time that they did it.
This was right after I had that conversation with him. And I'm like, this is weird. And that really hurted me. I'm like, wow, I didn't want stuff to change. I didn't want it to be like this. And I'm like.
And it was about her, the mother, allowing. Yeah. So I say L. Even in they whited out video, she got herself was talking to us.
She said, yeah, she was talking to us in that video that we were supposed to be in. So they knew we was going to watch it. And then later on in another video, they kept recording mostly Aliyah and Kayla. Just kept going around with the camera. Just going around. And I'm like, at this point, I was like, I mean, I was already done, but I was just laughing. I was like.
It's sad.
I was like, do they really think this is bothering me?
This is grown people now.
I'm like.
People who supposed to have the ruach, they say.
And the reason why they're like, oh, you haven't even passed it, Ebony. And it's been, I'm like, I've been past it. Like in October 2015. You guys are the ones that keep talking about it. You guys are the ones keep doing videos trying to throw it in my face.
Concerning the 2015 Illuminati Bilderberg occultic seating arrangement conspiracy that Ebony has in her mind because she doesn't have much to do with her life. Ebony, you don't think that sounds a little psycho? Let me tell you something, okay? You assume that me and my entire family, as well as the young lady who I had a crush on's family, had some type of, like, we all had an agreement. We all sat down and said,
we're going to sit Elijah next to this young lady, and so when Ebony sees it on the other side of the camera all the way in Florida, she's going to see it and she's going to completely lose her marbles.
Ebony, Bernessa, you don't think that sounds a little paranoid, schizophrenic? We had over 500 to 700 people watching that broadcast that day, and you're sitting there thinking that out of all those 500 to 700 people, we were singling you out, Ebony. Let's talk about paranoid schizophrenia right quick. One of the symptoms of paranoid schizophrenia is persecutory delusions. These persecutory delusions, notice the base word of persecutory, which is persecute. And I'm gonna put this on the screen for y'all to look at right quick too, so y'all can look it up in Google. Y'all can see some of these symptoms yourself. But these delusions involve people thinking that, you know, people who are affected by paranoid schizophrenia, you know, it's like a delusion. They think that everybody is out to get them. And so for you to assume, Ebony, that out of all those hundreds of people watching our broadcast that day, that we were singling you out and we wanted you to specifically see me and the young lady that I had a crush on sitting next to each other. Newsflash, young lady, you weren't even a blip of an atom in my mind. I was too focused on socializing and fellowshipping with these new people that we met, as well as the young lady that I had a crush on, to even be thinking about what you were doing in Florida. I didn't care. Ebony, I was the one that asked the young lady to sit next to me. I asked her to sit next to me, and there was no seating arrangement. Everybody just took a seat. Now, the young lady's aunt and uncle, they're both married, so they sat next to each other. I mean, were they supposed to sit like across the table from each other? Like one sit on the porch outside while the other sit at the table? Or what did you expect, you know? Of course, they're a couple, they're going to sit together. My mom and dad, they're married. They were going to sit together too. Not my mom sitting off somewhere in the attic upstairs. No, she was going to sit there next to her husband, aka my father. Now, the young lady, like I said, she was going to sit across the room. I told her to sit next to me. It was all just merely it was nothing to it, man. It's like the fact that you concocted that in your head, man. I don't know what to say about that. That's a little too much in my opinion. That's like really strange, and I think that's really too far. You got these delusions in your mind of things that are happening that aren't happening. You need to stop listening to the delusions in your head that are telling you that that's your business and that you had a right to say something to me about that, because I never kissed you, I never hugged you, I never told you you were cute, I never told you I loved you, I never even told you that I liked you, I never held your hand, I never hugged you, none of those things. There was no relationship. We didn't even spend a whole lot of time with each other while y'all was here at our house. Y'all were only here for like 5 days. You know, it was no connection there. And so it's like you have a whole lot of requirements of a guy that you're not involved with. Bruh. When I think about the fact that your mom, as old as she is sitting there supporting you in this foolishness. Bernessa, not trying to be rude or anything, but you did a terrible job with your daughter. You should have done better than that. You should have taught her better than that. Had that been my situation and I had some crush on some young lady that didn't like me back, and I was going on and I was upset at the young lady's parents for allowing her to sit next to some dude or something like that, my mom and dad back then, they would have told me, listen, man, she never told you that she liked you. That is not your right to be upset with her for sitting next to somebody that she likes. She was never in no relationship with you. You don't have the right to demand that of her. And likewise, if that was like one of my little sisters or my daughter or somebody that I care about, a female that I know that's close to me in my family or something like that, I would personally take their cell phone and their laptop myself and say, don't even fool with it. But Bernessa, you're sitting there supporting your daughter in this. She should have moved on from this 2 years ago when all of this went down. But instead, you're supporting her in this foolishness, not allowing her to grow up and get past this. You're more involved in it than she is. I mean, there was one point in the video where you and your daughter was trying to imply that there was some homosexuality over in my direction. And even your daughter was like, well, I don't think he's like that. But then you come back and he's like, nah, he gay. And you come back with all this stuff. And it's like you're more involved in it than your daughter is. This is a quick edit real quick because there was some points in Bernessa's and them video things that they claim that happened that never happened that I forgot to address in the first take of this video. And so it's a couple of lies of things that they claim supposedly happened in my life, in which one of those things they claim that Bernessa claimed that she spoke to my mother and my mom filled her in on some supposed incident where some young man came by and did something to me, and you know, I haven't been able to get past it since. Bernessa, why are you fabricating a story in which you had a conversation with my mom about such an event? That's a freaking lie, first of all. And second of all, I'll tell you exactly what was said to y'all. Now, I've told Ebony this story before about how I was outside a few times and I was hanging out with a bunch of kids in my neighborhood, right? They were popping firecrackers. And it was a bunch of my neighbors, my next door neighbor, a couple of her cousins, and a few people that I went to school with. And they was popping firecrackers. And so they asked me to go inside to get a lighter because they were running out of matches, and then they didn't have enough lighter fluid in their lighter. And so I turned around and I was headed back to my house to go get it, right? And then the young man, he takes a firecracker and then he lights it and then he throws it and it lands in the back of my shoe and it almost went off and it could have blew a chunk of meat out the back of my foot. You're taking that story and then twisting it with your own little twisted paranoid schizophrenic speculations as to what you think that story could have possibly been about. And you're taking it and you're running with that and you're telling that lie to the public. And guess what? The Most High sees that, and no lie is gonna go unpunished. And as far as the other lie that Ebony told about me being on some bus and some homosexual dude on a bus with me doing something, let me address that lie right quick. So, first of all, I'm gonna start off by saying the last time I was on a bus was when I was 9 years old. It was the school bus to my 4th grade class when we was living in Michigan. Guess what? I didn't even know what a homosexual was at that time. And so we moved down south when I turned 10 years old. And since we've been down south, I've never been on a bus a day in my life since we've been here. So this lie that I was on a bus with some dude, where are you pulling this from, man? Like, where are you? It's like you need to stop listening to them paranoid schizophrenic demons that are chitter-chattering in your ears and whatnot, man. You're hearing a lot of lies and voices that are telling you things that are not true. So, why are you lying? Like I said in this video here, in which I'm going to go back to the original footage in a minute, I said that the only reason why y'all are trying to demonize my character and talk about me a certain way is because I wasn't interested in your daughter. And Bernessa, as far as so-called gay tendencies and whatnot, you're wanting to be talking about anything, because I remember specifically you talking to my mom one day, right? And you was on the phone with her. You was talking about one of her videos where she was in the garden. And you got on the phone and you was talking to her about how beautiful she looks to you. And the way you over-exaggerated your speech and talking about how good my mom looks, you made her feel very uncomfortable. She was like... And then you would say things, you would call my mom your queen, and you had a lot of things to say about her, Bernessa. And hearing a lot of that stuff, I was really weirded out by it too. I was like, she going a little overboard. She sound like she in love with somebody. And then even in one of the messy videos that y'all uploaded over the past week, you happened to be talking about our family and my mom, and you said something about how you were taken away by your own lusts. So what the Satan does that mean? One more thing that I want to address really quick that y'all claim happened while y'all was at our house. Another lie. Y'all claim that a few times I made your daughter feel so-called uncomfortable with things that I was doing. So like, y'all claim that there was one incident where she ran out of the kitchen really fast and then took off upstairs really fast. And then I ran up the stairs all hard after her and whatnot. And I'm just sitting here right now like, why are y'all making this stuff up? It's like y'all don't really have anything y'all can talk about, so you gotta just make some stuff up on the fly to make us sound crazy as HE double hockey sticks. The other thing that y'all said that I supposedly did was a few times your daughter was chilling or something like that, and I would just be standing there just staring at her all crazy. Just how do I say this without coming across too abrasive? Ebony, listen, okay? Just listen really quick. I learned certain social etiquette, certain things that you just don't do, certain things that come across as weird, certain things that come across as extremely awkward and that can make people feel uncomfortable and whatnot. I learned about all that kind of stuff when I was 10 years old. And so, you telling this lie that I was standing there staring at you, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm not trying to make fun of you, or I'm not trying to diss nobody at all when I say this. But, Ebony, you sound really insecure. And even in your own words, I remember you saying this so many times because you were trying to fish for a compliment from me. You would diss the way you looked, and you would talk about yourself so bad, and I would feel really bad for you, but I didn't want to give you the wrong idea, and so I was just kind of look at you and just not have anything to say. But you said so yourself that you didn't like the way that you looked. You said it to me, you said it to my sisters. And so, those are your words. And so, now it's like you're trying to, I guess, to compensate for an insecurity that you feel in your spirit. Now you want to try to lie and make it seem like I was all aggressive and after you, chasing you up the stairs and flirting with you and acting a certain way and staring you down and making you feel extremely uncomfortable because you're trying to compensate for an insecurity that you feel in your mind. Ebony, you're 21 going on 22, and your mom is in her late 40s or 50s. I'm not sure what your mom's age is, but y'all are supposed to be adults. But the way y'all conducted yourself in that video, y'all conducted yourselves like a couple of preschoolers. And y'all should be completely ashamed and embarrassed by the way y'all present yourself to the public. Y'all are very petty and y'all are very juvenile. And y'all both need to grow up. It's like, Bernessa, it's funny to me. It's like, you had all this amazing, nice stuff to say about me back then. You was like, wow, you're a very awesome, amazing young man. And, you know, the Most High has blessed all of us to meet you guys. And, you know, Elia, my daughter wasn't allowed to listen to rap music when she was 13. That's what they told me, that their daughter couldn't listen to rap music when she was 13 years old. Up until the time she was 19, because they met me and they found out I could rap. They liked the way I sounded, and so they let their daughter start listening to all rap music after that. And so it's like y'all pretty much made our family into your kings, queen, and prince, or whatever you want to say. And these are your words too. In one of your videos, you even compared us to your black Jesus Christ or some crap like that. And it's like, my thing is, like I said, y'all had all this amazing stuff to say about us, but then when I turn around and I don't like your daughter, because that's when everything started to go downhill, was when y'all saw me sitting next to the young lady. It's like right then and there, immediately, everything was going like this. It's like everything just chilling. As soon as y'all saw me sitting next to the young lady, it's like, just went downhill, man. And it's like, now y'all want to call me all these names and defame my character and talk about me like a dog and make it seem like I'm some type of pimp. And how many young women's lives have I messed up in the past? Or you want to call me a homosexual and all of that kind of stuff now. It's like, now you want to go there because of the fact that I don't like your daughter? So somebody has to be a homosexual because they don't like your daughter. Do you hear how prideful that is? There's a lot more petty foolishness to this story, but like I said, I was going to try to keep this video as brief as possible, and I'm finished talking about all this, and this is going to be my last video addressing this subject. I had moved on with my life. Like I said earlier in this video, I met more people, and made lots of friends in this truth and whatnot. And I got a lot of people that I deal with on a regular basis, and I'm busy with a ton of things. I'm doing some of everything nowadays. And so it's like to come back and see these two still dwelling on this crap that happened 2 years ago. And I wouldn't even call it crap, because I mean crap sounds big. I would call it little, I would call it little roach poop, man. It's not even that big of a deal, man. It's like, move on with your life, man. Get on with your life. Some old fantasy that you concocted in your mind, some old delusion that somebody did you wrong, and that my family did you wrong, and that we owe you some type of apology, and oh, now we all just wicked. All of us are a bunch of demons because of the fact that I didn't like your daughter. I got one more thing I'm gonna say. These are some closing thoughts right quick. And Ebony, this is directed towards you, okay? I'm saying this to you as a young man, okay? And I'm speaking for most young men out there when I say what I'm about to say right now. And I'm saying that as a young man, any young man out there objectively looking for a young woman to be with, someone that they want to marry, someone that they want to be the mother of their children and all of those good things. If they're a good guy with a good head on his shoulders and they come across you, the way you present yourself to the public, the way you talk, the way y'all come across so bitter and so frustrated and angered and gossipy and so messy in your videos, the way y'all come across publicly, I'm telling you, I can literally promise you that ain't no level-headed, sane guy gonna want to settle down with something like you, Ebony. Observe yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror, and you need to discern whatever it is that has you responding like this, and you need to cast it out of your mind. It's time for you to grow up. You come across like a preteen child, and any young man looking for a wife is going to be completely turned off by that. Just saying. Yeah, so I wanted to address this video right quick. And yeah, with that, I'll say shalom.